Strengthening your core and glutes won't fix your anterior pelvic tilt. When people get serious about fixing their anterior pelvic tilt posture, eventually they stumble upon the advice that what they really need to do is strengthen and activate their core and glutes. On paper, this seems correct, but they're missing one crucial piece of the puzzle. Today's video is for those of you who have been doing all the right things to fix your anterior pelvic tilt posture for a very long time without making much progress. I don't see many people on the internet talking about this, but it can make a huge difference. Now, if you look here at my pelvis, again, on paper, activating the core muscles will bring my stomach in, and then once my glutes are firing properly, my pelvis will get into a more neutral position, and poof, my posture should be all fixed, right? But the thing that most people don't understand is that you can't simply activate these muscles properly unless you first release the opposing tight muscles. Stick with me here. See, for your muscles to contract or activate properly, the opposing muscles, technically called the antagonists, have to relax or stretch a bit at that same time. A simple example to help illustrate this is whenever you contract your quads, your hamstrings, which are the opposing muscles, have to relax and elongate in order to allow your quads to work properly and contract like they're supposed to. Another example beautifully illustrated here is when the bicep contracts, the tricep relaxes. This happens to most of the opposing muscle groups in our body, and when the tension and length relationship between them is optimal, things work just fine. However, if a muscle is chronically tight and overactive, its opposing muscles simply won't be able to contract and fire properly, and that is one of the root issues with most people trying to fix their posture to no avail. So now, going back to fixing your anterior pelvic tilt, yes, you need to activate the core, but the question is, can you actually do that? Let's look at what the opposing muscles of the core are, and they are your erector spinae muscle group and the QL, which run on the backside. These muscles are responsible for spinal extension, and when the core muscles flex and contract, the erectors and the QL are supposed to relax and elongate at that same time, allowing your core muscles to do their job. For individuals with anterior pelvic tilt posture, these erectors and QL are usually extremely tight and overactive. And so you can imagine if they're too tight, your core simply won't be able to activate properly, even if you do a gazillion plank exercises. There's a saying, you can work harder or you can work smarter. Just doing more planks is working harder, but focusing on releasing the opposing muscles, these back extensors first, before doing your planks, that's working smarter. I'll get to the glutes in a moment, but here's a great stretch for your erectors and QL muscles, the deep squat with forward neck fold. You only want to apply 60 to 70% of downward pressure with your hands. If this squat is too difficult, simply do a forward fold between your legs while sitting in a chair. Whichever version you do, feel your low back releasing and lengthening and hold for 1 minute or more. A good idea is to do the plank core exercise right after this back stretch, as now you will be able to activate the core area much better with your erectors and QL more relaxed. Be sure to suck your belly button in the entire time and feel like you're spreading your shoulder blades apart. Most of you should only be doing about 30-second reps to make sure your plank form stays correct. By the way, if you're enjoying our video so far, give us a like and comment down below if you have any questions. And now, let's look at the glutes. In order for your glute muscles to fire properly, the opposing muscles, which are the hip flexors in this case, have to relax. Again, just like with the erectors, most individuals with an anterior pelvic tilt posture have very tight, overactive hip flexors, and so your glutes can't activate properly when the hip flexors are that tight. So you can do all the glute bridge exercises in the world, but it won't help until you have released your hip flexors. Now, for today's video, let's focus on releasing the two main hip flexors, the psoas and the rectus femoris. For the psoas, do the kneeling hip flexor stretch and make sure to posteriorly tilt your pelvis to really feel the release in the front. And for the rectus femoris, do this kneeling chair stretch. Again, tilt your pelvis posteriorly and feel your quads relax. Hold these statically at least 45 seconds per leg or more. Now that you've released the hip flexors, do the glute bridge exercise and your chances of your glutes actually activating have increased dramatically. To get the most out of the glute bridge, be sure to squeeze your butt before you even push the hips up. You want to feel the activation mostly in your glutes rather than in your hamstrings or quads. Do 10 to 15 slow reps to start with. Now I want to clarify something. Some of you have extremely tight hip flexors or erectors to the point that you may need to spend 2 to 4 weeks just stretching and releasing out these muscles first before even doing any glute or core exercises at all. In fact, that's what I would recommend. First, be sure to release some of these overactive muscles before you activating the opposing muscles. It all depends on how tight these areas are for you. That's it for today. If you found this video helpful, give us a like and share it with a friend. Check out Posture Flow app to access the best follow-along posture exercises. Also, I want to invite you to watch my 3-part video series on what it actually takes to fix your posture. The link is somewhere here or down below.